The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
40 minutes past 9, time for the Smart Campaign. Today is the third episode in our Transparency series, and we'll be back in studio with our guests to discuss the skit.
A joint child steps out of her car and rushes into a building with inscription, Safe Fund Bank. She rushes out and knocks into a woman. She raised her head.
Sorry, madam. I'm so sorry. Madam, I was in a...
George. Wow. When was the last time I saw you?
Susie Bachman. Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Same here. Oh.
Great. But what are you doing here? I heard you work in a bank.
Oh, yes, I do. I work for Surrey Bank. But what are you doing here?
Long story.
Okay. Do you know what? Take my number. I'll call you. No, call me.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Ajoy Chan takes her card. Susie enters the bank. Ajoy Chan leaves.
Hello, Susie.
Hello. Ajwa.
Susie.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, how are you?
I'm great. Oh. Hey. Ajwa. So tell me, what happened between you and Charles?
You have no idea. It didn't work. We broke up.
You broke up. Last bed. Broke up. I see. Anyway, why were you rushing out of the bank like your father died? What was the problem?
It's worse than the death of my father. Susie, some banks can really exhaust people. Oh.
Some banks. Achan, I know. But why? Is there a problem?
Ajoy Chan pauses for a second and continues.
Like I said, it's a long story.
Make it short. I'm listening.
Right after uni, I lost my mom to diabetes.
I heard about that. Sorry. May her soul rest in peace.
Thank you. And since she was the only source of income and shelter, and her death came through as a surprise, I was somehow lost and didn't know what to do. You know I'm the daughter of a single parent, right? Who also had a stepbrother to take care of. Remember Kojo, my father's son?
Yeah. I'm very much aware. How is he?
He is great. He was the reason why I needed to find means and ways to survive ASAP. And the only thing we got from my mom was our house, her shop in Makola, and her 4-wheel drive, which was already willed to me.
It's indeed a long story.
Okay. To cut everything short, I sold the car and used some of the money for her funeral. I buried my mom gracefully. Then I took over the selling at the shop.
That was a great decision you took, Achan. You handled it well.
Great, but challenging. I nearly lost the shop after the first year of being in charge.
Oh, how?
I was ripped of all the money from the shop by my shopkeeper within a year, and I nearly lost it all.
Oh, the shopkeepers. Bah.
So I was forced to go for a loan because I needed to save the business and my only source of income. Oh, Susie, my airtime is finished. Let me recharge and get back to you.
Oh, hello, Achan. Do you know what? If you can hear me, come and see me at home. And let's finish this conversation. We don't need to do this on phone, okay?
Hello? Oh, okay, I will.
The call cuts. She gets up, picks her car keys, and she leaves. Ajoy Chan drives into the compound of Susie. Susie ushers her into her house. In Susie's living room.
Hey, Ajwa. How are you, dear?
I'm great.
Come on, come inside. What should I offer you? Beer, champagne, water?
Juice.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Susie heads to the kitchen and comes back with a tray, glass, and juice. While Ajua looks through the room to find awards, certificates, and pictures of best manager decorated in one corner of her room.
There you are. Help yourself.
Thank you.
Ajua pours herself a glass and sips on it.
Susie, is that the president giving you an award?
Oh, yes, that's him. During the Best Manager Award show at the Suri Bank branch in Kumasi.
Hey! Wow, so you made it. You became a manager for Suri Bank. Awesome.
No, I successfully managed some branches of Suri Bank. By the way, thank you. But wait, what's the issue you have with Safe Fund Bank?
Safe Fund Bank. I can't even think far.
Then think close.
Well, as we were discussing earlier, when that girl nearly killed my business at the young age of 25, I went for a loan by using my house and the shop as collateral.
A very great decision you took. A big one.
Yes, a tough one. And that is what has been hunting me till now. Can you imagine?
What?
The bankers gave me a loan that attracts 25% rate after every 3 months. I mean every 3 months. Spread across 5 years of payments, even though the money I borrowed was just 100 million old currency.
Jesus Christ.
I was only a kid who didn't understand anything and needed money. So I didn't know what I was signing up for. I had no one to guide me through the documents, and I told myself 25 million CDs is nothing. I can pay. Such a decision was taken by me, oh, Susie. Me.
Wow. 25%. That is atrocious.
And that's what I've been paying for till now.
I'm short of words. I don't even know what to say. Spread across a period of 5 years, 25%. Yesu.
Anyway, that's my problem now.
That means you were given no information on the type of loan you were going for. You just went for it.
Plain answer. A big yes.
How desperate. Anyway, the deal is, you already signed those papers, so there's not much to do about it. But Echan, the next time you're going for a loan,
I don't mean to cut you, but sister, I've already gone for another one. Can you help me understand things a bit more? Although I thoroughly checked through the documents this time around, I really want to understand into details.
Yes. Anyway, there are different types of loans, but the type you went for is a commerce loan. And interest rate for most of the banks per year should not exceed 35.9%.
Oh, okay.
Yes, per year. You see? So 1, I think you were cheated. And 2, you already signed whatever documents they gave you around that time without having a fair idea of what you are getting yourself into. So you are bound to it, regardless of how wrong they were in their charges. And I can't say much about that.
Okay. With this new loan, the interest rate is 2% and it's after every 3 months. Since I borrowed just 20,000 Ghana cedis, that means I pay 400 Ghana cedis in interest after every 3 months, and it sums up to 3,200 a year. Yeah.
Great. You're right. But please, these are some of the most important information you should watch out for when acquiring a loan.
Wait, let me open my notebook and jot them down.
You Mate. Okay. So 1, you must ask for the overall interest rate you'll be paying for. 2, the period at which you'll be paying. 3, the total amount to be paid. Also, you should scrutinize the contract thoroughly before you sign anything. In fact, you need a lawyer present before you sign any document.
Susie. Wait, what if I don't have a lawyer?
Then you should insist from the loaners to give you a clear explanation of what regular charge, penalty charge, interest rate, annual percentage rate, total amount to pay, cooling off period, etc. is before you take the loan. In fact, you need a detailed pre-agreement statement before you take a loan.
Okay, I even heard there's a certain amount of 0.25% I will pay if I pay the money before the period of time I agree with the company to pay off the loan.
Yes, there is. That is the early payments charge, which is something small, like you said, 0.25%.
Right. Now I understand. But what I don't get is why I've been paying that interest rate till now, because I finished the debt 3 months ago.
Well, it's because you approved to the documents that had an ambiguous pre-agreement statement from the lender. You see why you need to thoroughly examine the documents provided to you, a borrower, before you go for any loan.
But I was rushing out of the bank because I'm supposed to finish payment on that long-term loan today, and I was expecting some money from one of my customers, but I was disappointed yesterday. So I came here to ask for an extension, and just when I left the manager's office, my customer called telling me she has credited my account with the money. So I was rushing to go and clarify at my bank when I bumped into you.
Oh.
And this payment wahala wouldn't have been a problem now if my bank didn't say I'll be able to clear the money after 3 days. And I am now recovering from fire burning my stores just last month. And I owe another unpaid loan too. Hey, Susie, it's not easy.
Ajwa, you know what? I will offer you help by giving you some money to pay off this last debt with the Safe Fund Bank as a friend. Then,
Wow.
maybe you can pay me later. Loan free.
Okay. Thank you. I'll rush to the bank tomorrow and settle my debts. But you didn't tell me why you were entering Safe Fund Bank yesterday. Do you save there?
No. That is our sister company. But we are suspecting some shady businesses going on there. So I was appointed to go investigate the issues at Safe Fund Bank. And I was on my way there with some CID guys when you bumped into me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, we, Suri Bank, who is the mother company, is suspicious some staff members are diverting funds and stealing from customers.
Really?
Yes, so, Ajwa.
Susie, thank you. It's not easy. When people see me at the market going up and down from Lagos to China to Holland and I'm in my Mercedes, they think I'm enjoying. Anyway, Madam Bank Manager, thank you.
I am not a bank manager, but anyway, welcome. Remember these pointers I gave you, those pointers I gave you. Okay? And if you want anything, just call me for clarification.
Yes, please. I will.
9:27 on the City Breakfast Show. So that was the skit. Don't forget, this is the smart campaign brought to you by Action Center for Financial Inclusion in partnership with the Financial Inclusion Forum for Africa. Kojo Bafwigan is our guest. He is with the Vision Fund. Kojo, great to have you on the show.
Great. Thank you, and good morning to our listeners.
Good morning. Before we get into the questions, we need to remind listeners that next week there's going to be a final episode, and there's a chance to win a prize. So we hope you've been listening to all the episodes and taking notes, because some of the questions we would ask will be coming from what we've put in so far. Well, in today's episode, Adjoecha suffered a similar fate as in episode 1 on the theme of transparency. She hadn't read through the documents. This time around, there wasn't anyone to guide and explain the terminologies in the contract. So what should she have done?
Great, thank you. The financial service provider, in this case, the Safe Bank, had a responsibility to ensure that the contract is explained in a language that HR understands. We can look at this from two perspectives. I mean, the perspectives of the regulatory requirements and then also good faith that financial service providers have or must exercise towards their clients. I mean, if you look at the disclosure and product transparency rules for credit products and services by the Bank of Ghana, specifically Rule 21, it talks about the quality and comprehension of information that lenders must provide to borrowers. And the language has to be very clear and comprehensible. In fact, you go further to say if you're dealing with clients who have visual or hearing impairments, you must communicate the language in a way that they would be able to understand. That's
Okay.
everything that's contained in the contract. But you see, from the point of good faith, a contract is an agreement between parties. Financial service institution, it is in their own interest to ensure that whatever the clients are signing on to is explained to them for them to understand. Because your overriding interest is for the person to discharge his or her obligations in the contract. If the person does not understand it, right, the person may not honor the obligations of the contract as you would expect him or her to do, and this can result in bad portfolio quality or non payment of their loans, which is not something that we want. So it is important that we try to explain these issues to our clients. It's very, very important, and that's what we seek to do with this campaign.
So let's look at some of the terminologies that came up in the end of the skit. They're using things like APR, annual percentage rate. What does that mean?
Good. Thank you. You know, what we are used to on the market is the nominal interest rate. So our clients will say, oh, I went to Bank A, and they are offering me 24% per annum. Bank B, 23% per annum. But the truth is that is not the whole story. The whole story is, apart from the nominal interest rate, there are other charges, right, that form the overall cost of the loan to the client.
Okay.
But unfortunately, these other charges are not pronounced and explained to the client. So, for example, before you are likely to be paying insurance on the loan you are taking. It will be expressed as a percentage of the loan amount. You are likely to be paying some administrative fees. Some institutions or microfinance companies even charge for application fees. I mean, passbooks where clients record their costs. There's also security deposits, which is basically an amount of money you have to provide in advance of you taking a loan. And the security deposit can be as high as 50% of the loan amount being given. If you cost all these other charges, you realize that it is not simply the nominal interest rate that you've been told. So what the annual percentage rate seeks to cure is that it seeks to deal with the problem of non-transparency in pricing. So the APR says, look, tell the client all that is related to the loan, not just the nominal interest rate. And I think that we should begin to do this. We don't, like I say, we don't need a regulator to push us to do this. It is clear in the rules, so it's a requirement. But it becomes a basis for competition, because an institution can charge 23% per annum, right? And still be more expensive than an institution that charges 25% per annum, right? But the clients are not able to understand this. So it's our responsibility to package the annual percentage rate, or in some cases the effective interest rate, and show the clients that, look, it's not just the nominal interest rate that is stated. And so the APR is very important. And this must be clear in all our marketing materials to the client.
What about principal?
So the principal is basically the loan amount that is given to you. So for example, I go to a savings and loans company or a microfinance institution to take a loan of 10,000 Ghana cedis. That 10,000 Ghana cedis that is disbursed to you is the principal amount that the financial service provider is given to the client. And this can change over time, over the period of the loan, because every month you'll be paying an installment, which is basically a composition of the principal and the interest. And so the principal amount will be reducing over the tenure of the loan. So that's what the principal stands for.
What about the total amount to pay?
So the total amount to pay is a combination of all the principal, all interest that is charged on the loan, all the commissions, the fees, any insurance, administrative charges, any bundled products that are related to the loan. So that's the whole facility. So for example, I took 10,000 Ghana cedis. I have an interest rate that comes to 2,000 Ghana cedis, and all the other charges also come to 500 Ghana cedis. So the total amount you'll be paying then becomes 12,500 Ghana cedis. That is the total cost of the facility to the client.
What about penalties? The penalty.
So penalty is also a punitive interest that is charged when the clients default on the terms of the loan. So in most cases, when your installment is due and you do not pay on time, then the financial service provider can charge you a penalty for default on that installment. And this penalty charge must also be clearly stated, because that's one of the pain points. It must be explained to the client. If the clients know about this, there's no incentive to even default, because the more defaults, the more expensive the loan facility is to you. Again.
What about the early payment charge?
So early payment is if the contract is being terminated in advance of the actual expiry date. So for example, I took a loan for 1 year, and then by the 6th month, I have some liquidity and I want to terminate the loan. So you basically be paying your principal plus all the accrued interest. And for terminating the loan in advance, there's also a charge. That sometimes, it's not all FSPs that charge for this, but some will charge depending on the nature of their business, because they may have locked up the funds in other instruments, and so going to redeem it in advance would come at a cost, and so they transfer this cost to the client.
What about the pre-agreement statement?
We need to just emphasize this, that it is required by the rules governing the operations of financial service providers that before a client signs a loan contract, like Adwoa, she must have a pre-agreement statement that states all the terms that we've just been explaining. The principal amount, how much interest, what the penalty charges are, how much commissions there are in, what the insurance is, what is the tenure of the loan, so the person can go through, right? And like we said in the first episode, this statement has a validity period of 5 days. So the client can go through, take his or her time to then agree on to sign on to the facility or otherwise. But we don't have this practice in Ghana. And one objective of this campaign is to let clients know that, look, before you sign a contract, tell the financial service provider that you are entitled to have a pre-agreement statement. They should make it available to you for you to go through and decide before you sign the contract. We are required to do it by law. Good.
Let's end with the cooling off period.
Good. So the cooling off period is a period right after signing a contract. So I signed a contract yesterday based on some considerations. I've decided not to take the contract or to execute the contract. So I don't take the loan. I have a cooling off period where I can go back to the bank, savings and loans or microfinance to say that, no, I'm no longer taking the loan at no cost. The only condition should be that you must not access the facility. So you can exercise the right not to take the loan, and that you see all these things are provided for by the central bank regulations that govern how we operate. But unfortunately, they are not very pronounced, and the clients don't benefit from this. And I think that, I mean, the industry should take a lead in the name of transparency to make these pronounced and make the clients more informed, so they can make better choices.
Super. I'm sure we'll wrap up properly next week with our final episode, which is the episode that also gives some prizes to winners. Thank you, Kojo, for being on the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't forget, this segment was brought to you by the Center for Financial Inclusion at Action, with support from the Financial Inclusion Forum for Africa. When we come back, it's our on-air series for the City Business Festival. Stay with us.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.